Defensemen. Love or hate them, they're a crucial piece to any NHL team. If you want to compete in the playoffs, then you need to have a number one guy that will help lead you to the Stanley Cup. But this may be the most challenging piece to find for any NHL team. So today let's go across the league and rank my top 10 defensemen that are currently playing in the NHL. This is based on a lot of factors like career so far, potential, and how well they've played through the recent seasons, not just this one season. So there's no recency bias with this one, so don't comment about one guy having a really good season compared to the past few years. Now before I get started, I post daily NHL and hockey related videos, so if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you do that now, and let's get right into it. For all the hate that the New York Islanders get, there's one thing that this team does incredibly well, and that's drafting and building strong defensive units. A player who has really surged onto the scene, especially this season, is Noah Dobson. Dobson is having an incredible season with 63 points in 61 games played with the Islanders. Dobson is second in scoring for the Islanders right behind Matt Barzal and adds a much needed offensive presence to this team. The Islanders have lacked what fans call star power for a while now, and the rising of a star like Dobson makes this team a lot more interesting this time of year. Now Dobson has rose to success in New York and has become a clear number one defenseman for the Islanders. He continues to be underrated, but I'm stopping that now. Dobson has earned a spot in the top 10. If he continues to produce like this, then we may have to raise him even higher on lists like these. You think Dobson is underrated? Let's get into this next player, because to me he deserves a lot more credit for the success he's having in the NHL over this season and the last one. Josh Morrissey, the number one option for the Winnipeg Jets, has become the backbone to their defensive unit. Morrissey had a breakout season last year for the Jets with 76 points in 78 games played, and this season he's doing just as well with 51 in 61 games played so far. The Jets, like the Islanders, lack the presence of star players, but with Morrissey playing at such a high offensive and defensive level, they're able to gut out wins in a variety of ways. The leap that Morrissey has taken from just 2 years ago offensively is underappreciated, and his defensive game is incredible with a plus 22 on the year and 84 block shots on the season. It's time to give Josh Morrissey his flowers, and to me he easily belongs on this list. I'm excited to see where he takes his game as he continues to improve with each season. Now this next pick may sound like a rant because it's actually really interesting, and I would love to see what you all think about this take. When are we going to see Rasmus Dahlin really step things up and take the Sabres to the next level? The Sabres are still a young team, so we have to wait. They're continuing to develop their prospects in the right direction recently, but at age 23 and earning the massive payday, I feel like I expected a lot more from Dahlin this season and feel like it's been a bit of a letdown. If we were talking just this season alone, then Dahlin wouldn't even be included in my top 10. -9 on the season, way less defensive production, and if you compare him to the other guys that he's often mentioned with, Dahlin just isn't meeting those first overall pick levels that the Sabres need him to. Now don't get me wrong, I still believe he's a strong number one defenseman, and like I said, he's 23 and has a lot of time to grow, but I would have liked to see him take another step this year, so I could say he's closer to the top 5 defenseman on this list rather than saying he's just a top 10 defenseman. Either way, Dahlin is a solid number one option for the Sabres, and it's not all on him. They are just struggling throughout their roster, so to me he remains on a top 10 list just for some of the strengths and potential. But when are we going to see that jump? Are you guys worried about Dahlin, or do you think that he's never going to meet that potential we all have for him as a number one overall pick? 33 years old and still an absolute beauty for the Nashville Predators. Roman Josi has been a gift to this organization and continues to dominate the blue line in Nashville. Josi's defense is solid and he controls the pace of the game whenever he's on the ice, but what really separates him from other top defensemen in the league is his offense. Josi is arguably the most consistent offensive defenseman in the NHL. He has 61 points in 63 games played this year and has been the best player on the Nashville Predators for years now. You'll have a hard time finding a guy who has been as consistent on both sides of the ice for this long. It's tough because he's a gem in Nashville, but I would love to see him take another serious run at a Stanley Cup. He's incredibly entertaining and his skill is hands down top 10 in the NHL. Again, at 33 years old, he's doing some remarkable stuff, and if you haven't been watching some Predators games, just tune in every now and then just to see this guy play. He's fantastic. Now when we talk about strong defensive minded defensemen in any conversation, the first player who always comes to my mind is Victor Hedman. Hedman may not be a top 5 defender on my list anymore, but he's still producing at such a high level. In today's game, we value the offense that defenders bring to a game, and Hedman, even as a sound defensive guy, plays an even stronger offensive game. This season, he has 60 points in 61 games played, and has been a consistent 50-point defender on the Lightning, even with all of the offensive stars that they have on their roster. Hedman is a reliable, consistent guy that has earned a spot on my top 10 list. Placing him at number 6 is no knock on his game. He's a beauty. There are just a few guys who I feel deserve to be in the top 5 over him. Every year, this next player just gets better and better offensively and defensively. And with the turnaround this team had to their roster, I think this guy has earned a top 5 spot for me, considering what he's had to do for this team. Charlie McAvoy, at just 26 years old, is the centerpiece for one of the best defensive units in the NHL. McAvoy has always been considered a promising defenseman, and over the past few years, he's really grown into a young star for the Boston Bruins. McAvoy has 42 points in 56 games played this year. McAvoy has 122 hits this season, 113 blocks, and is a +7 while averaging 25+ minutes of ice time a game. He's a consistent blue liner with silky smooth mitts and the ability to both pass and finish plays everywhere on the ice. McAvoy is a strong closer, an incredible leader, and has earned a top 5 spot on my list. What a year it's been for Quinn Hughes. The potential has always been there, but he is finally having the breakout season I knew he was capable of. Now, offensively, this season shouldn't surprise you all that much. Last year, Quinn Hughes already had a 70-point season with 76 points in 78 games played. This season, though, Quinn Hughes will surpass that and currently leads defensemen in points with 73 in 64 games played. What's really been great for Quinn this year is the upgrade in his defense. Quinn's a +33 on the season compared to his +15 from last year. He's more disciplined with the puck on the blue line and has fewer giveaways so far this season than he did last year. Now, Quinn Hughes is my Norris Trophy favorite right now. I know Cale Makar is kind of creeping up on him a little bit, but the way he's just rallied the Canucks after being made captain, become an offensive unit for them on the blue line these past few seasons, all while improving his defensive numbers, has really earned him this top 4 spot on my list. Watching Miro Heiskanen play might be my favorite thing. I've never seen a player who is more fluid with their movements than this guy. Miro is fantastic defensively and offensively for the Stars and may just be their best player at this point. 24 years old, he has 42 points in 53 games played while averaging 25 minutes plus of ice time every game. Heiskanen has 43 hits on the year with 71 block shots and is a +3. Heiskanen seems to improve every season, if that's even possible at this point, and has become a great asset for the Stars on both their penalty kill and power play. It took Heiskanen a minute to find his footing in the league, but with this much improvement and skill at just 24 years old, the sky's the limit for Miro and the Stars. Even though he has missed some time this year, there's no debate that Adam Fox is a top defender in the league. Fox's hockey IQ is off the charts, and you'll rarely see him make a mistake on his own end. Fox can pass, score goals, stick handle with the best of them, but his strengths are really in the defensive end. Watching Adam Fox control the pace of play, finesse his way through defenders, and really just control the way other teams' offenses move is something that only few defenders in the NHL can manage. Fox has 49 points in 52 games played, has already won a Norris Trophy, and has helped this team control the top spot in the Metro all season long. As far as all-around defenders go, there is only one guy who I consider to be a bit better than Adam Fox, but don't let that confuse you. He's still a stud in every possible way. It's hard to believe that he just got his first career hat trick a few days ago, but my number 1 pick shouldn't really surprise anyone. It's Cale Makar. Like I said, no surprise here. Makar is so good defensively. He's like a ballerina the way he dances along the blue line and creates space for his team's offense. Makar is the best edges in the game, and the way he skates is just so fluid and exciting to watch. Offensively, he has 70 points in 59 games played, with 36 points on the power play, a 9.6 shooting percentage, all while averaging 25+ minutes of ice time. Defensively, he is easily the best on this list. 110 block shots, 29 hits, and is a +10 on the season. Makar is only 25 years old and is already breaking records and transcending the game. He has 316 points in 282 games played as a defenseman, which is insane to think about. Has a Norris Trophy already, a Stanley Cup, a Conn Smythe, all before 25 years old, and is making a strong case to win the Norris again this season. When his career is finished, we may recognize him as the greatest defenseman to ever play the game if he keeps up this pace. Now let's go through some honorable mentions who almost made my list in this one. Jacob Slavin, Alex Pietrangelo, Devon Toews, Hampus Lindholm, Mikhail Sergachev, Drew Doughty, Brandon Montour, and Evan Bouchard. I'm sure I missed some players here, but these are the guys who I considered for my top 10, but they just missed out. Let me know if you want a part 2 ranking my defensemen from 11 to 20. But these are my top 10 defensemen that are currently in the NHL. Make sure you comment on any player that I may have missed in my honorable mention section, along with any changes you would make to my top 10 list. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next one.